This story about a teenager girl kind of gone through all these
Yeah.
challenges, so it was something there in my mind that I want to bring this to the world. Like I'm a certified yoga teacher also now. There used to be a guy which was kind of attracted to her, but Tina's friends used to tease her with his name. If you still feel that you don't have any option, that you have to be with this, then I would suggest, would you like to read? Would you have that mindset to read? Would you be focused? Would you be able to concentrate?
Thanks a lot. Thanks that you said now you can hear me better. All right. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you
Mm.
doing? It is so
Uh,
nice to meet you after such a long time.
yes, the same. So I want to interview you about your book. So thanks for having me because I really read it from cover to cover after you sent it to me, and it's a very pleasure to read this book because I have a few questions if you don't mind to start with. So
Yeah.
to start, the first question is basically this beloved childhood. How do you come to this title?
Because this is story about a teenager girl. So, like she's in this is a kind of her teen years. Basically, she's in her childhood only. So, and so that is why I have come up with this kind of title so that everyone can relate. Like, what is the story all about? Maybe not the complete frame, but it gives a gist, like what they can expect inside the book.
Okay, because the main message that you want to tell is basically about a 13-year-old Tina, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, cool. And is it secretly you?
I mean, I also went to the hostel in my childhood, like the same age Tina went. So
Wow.
some of the plots I have used from there, but not completely, I should say. But it has been definitely inspired from my life, from my experiences, whatever I have been through during that time.
Oh, see, that's why I'm thinking, wait a minute, I don't want to to ask you this question before the formal one. So thank you so much for telling me that. It's something that I had in mind, like, wait a minute, let me ask this question if you don't mind. Okay. Let's move to the next question then. Did you take any course or anything to learn to write a book?
No, I have not taken any course to write this.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. Because you're not from the background of a writer, because you and I, you know each other. I mean, now you're a IT lead in a well-established firm in India. So
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about how did you write this book from such a young age? Yeah.
Like I used to write the diaries in my like I was very small that time, like in my class 4, class 5. So I had this habit of writing like what happened in a day and around that. And then since I moved to this school, this boarding school, in my childhood, like exactly the age Tina went, like 13 years, like the kind of difficulties I have faced. So I wanted to bring it to the world. Like sometimes it may sound fancy, like when you go to the boarding school, like you are enjoying and all. Like there will be enjoyment, but if you are coming from a background where you are very pampered in your home by your parents, so it becomes really difficult sometimes to get adjusted to that hardship. Like boarding school is not a fun. Like you really have to be like very alert, very self-depend
Wow.
if you want to stay there. So when I have kind of gone through all these
Yeah.
challenges, so it was something there in my mind that I want to bring this to the world. Like if
Wow.
anyone is really planning to go to the boarding, they should
Yeah.
know this. Like it is not a cakewalk. Like some for some people it is like sound maybe very fancy to go to the boarding school. Nowadays it is a kind of status symbol, right?
Wow. Yeah.
But they should know like what happens once you step in there. I mean, it is a good thing if you go and stay there. Like, I really feel proud to myself, and I thank my parents to be with me during that journey. Now I found it easy, but that time, in that age, it was very, very difficult for me
Thank you
to
for
get
sharing.
adjusted to that new
It's
environment.
amazing. Yeah, because I have so many questions to be honest, Vidushi, because like I said, this book is real and it has. I would highly recommend people who's listening now, please buy this book because this book has been even opened my mind. When you wrote it a few years, I mean, maybe I'm not sure how old you are, but at least a few years younger than you wrote this book. I must say, a lot of
Yes,
wording that you were using is quite high. How do you call it? Food for thought because it's quite deep. I'll go into asking some question, but spoiler alert, guys. For this book, I want to say if you want to buy this book, please go to Amazon, right? You can buy it on
yes,
Amazon,
yes,
or you can find it online, or by the end of this interview, I'm going to ask you how people can reach out to you so that we can help promote this amazing book. I highly recommend you guys. So, because um, there will be a special offer. Whoever will be the first 10 people who are commenting or subscribing for this channel, but you have to send also your name and your contact details so that I can send this book for free for you. Yes, 10 copies for free. And I can I will pay it from my pocket. It's fine, Hiroshi. Okay. So and whoever
yes,
lives in India, go to her town and then she will sign it for you. Will be even much more worth. Okay. So you will not miss it. Anyways, apology. Yeah, so I promise you guys that whoever comment on my videos, subscribe and also send me your details, then I'll send you this 10 copies for free. Okay. The other question that I have for you, Fidushi, is when I look in the book, I was really stunned about when you talk about a lot of stuff in it. I don't know where to start because the names that you were reading, putting into it, like the mummy was Rima, the father was Rishabh. Both started with R, for example. I'm not sure if it has something to do with that. Maybe you can explain to that later. But I also found that when I read that book, I'm just going to maybe spoiler alert to for those that haven't read it book, apology, because in her mind, she always have the three things in her mind that whenever she goes to the school, like cleanliness, health, and study, right? So when you talk about the two houses, Gandhi House and Nehru House, can you elaborate more about that journey, that why she want these three principles to be important? Yeah.
yes. So, okay, so Tina's house mistress have kind of taught her these three principles because Tina was behind a steady, steady, and steady only. But what her house mistress asked her, like instead of studies, there are few more important things which you should focus on. Like as you told, like health and cleanliness also, and cleanliness and health are the topmost priority before we comes to study. So if you see, like if you are not in a good health, like you are not healthy, and there is not cleanliness around you, would you like to read? Would you have that mindset to read? Would you be focused? Would you be able to concentrate? So that was the idea behind the house mistress. Like the third thing will happen automatically if you focus on these two kind of principles or pillars. So like you can try to apply this in your day-to-day life also. Like she was very young, so that time she couldn't understand the logic behind it or what is the importance behind it. That time she has kind of done it because her house mistress has told her to follow this kind of rule. But now, like you are very mature, and whoever is listening to this podcast, they are very mature enough. So now, if you are in your 20s or 30s, you can very much relate why the health and cleanliness thing her house mistress might have told her that time. Because it is very kind of direct thing, right? Like if you have an environment, like you are supposed to create an environment first if you want to do something. So
Um,
your surroundings should be clear and clean, and like there should be proper ventilation. Your health should be good. Like if you have fever, how can you focus on your studies? Tell me this thing. You
Absolutely.
cannot. So that was the idea behind it. And
Oh, wow.
there was a kind of that house system, like all the students of the schools were divided into four houses. So Nehru House, Gandhi House. So that is to kind of promoting the sense of that competitiveness, like staying together in harmony, but still like how can we do better for ourselves. Like if some other house is doing in that way, which is good, how can we adopt their practices to improve ourselves? So that was the idea behind dividing the people into four houses.
Okay. Awesome, Vidushi, because that now it's super clear now why there were four houses and how they split it out. Because like you and I know, these four are really big giants in a long time. You know, the Gandhis, the Neros, very big names. But I'll spare the listener on this one, maybe for the next topic in our next session. But let's go because I like the flow that you're talking about. The houses is clean because one thing is for sure that you mentioned in your book, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Tina is a shy girl. And basically, also, there were no hot water before. I read somewhere in the winter, they have to go and use the pump, the hand pump, which is neither too cold or not too hot, something like that. Um, yeah, I still recall a long time ago, I went to mainland China, very long, in the year 2000. And there were also toilet that wasn't really using like the Western toilet, flush toilet. They were only you need to uh knee down, right? So I don't, and maybe we can start with the most hardest part that I almost was really stunned of your writing. She got an accident, right? And she couldn't kneel down when she has to, use the toilet or bathroom, something like that. So can you elaborate more on that vivid situation, how it felt for her? Yeah.
Yes, so like there used to be a kind of morning exercise which was mandatory. So there used to be like head counts used to be taken before the exercise routine or the health routine starts for the girls. So what happened? So that specific day, I think that day was Teacher's Day, and she was not able to do some exercise which the head girl was instructing her to do. So that head girl has asked her like again to put more stress on the knee, and in that process, like while she was trying to do that, that
Yeah.
knee went directly into the floor, and it was kind of fracture that happened that time for her.
Yeah, that was really, I mean, when sorry for the people who hasn't read the book yet, but that was one of the vivid plays that I have because a family member just got an accident of mine, and I know how hard it is for him to go to the toilet, even though the Western toilet for him. And that was very vivid to me when I read it. I was like, wait a minute, this book is now turning upside down. It's a reality, real story, to be honest, for the listener here. A family member has this incident, and I went to see how he's doing. And he was saying, I go to toilet was very difficult. And I said, I read this book about but you are lucky, at least you can sit down like that. But what if you have to knee down? Well, there's only a hole there, the old style. So, but yeah, thanks for sharing because that was one of the main thing that I saw her struggle, and that was during the time of great despair. There was another one that I will ask you a question about it. It's very vivid because I'm going to ask you something else first. So I'm going to juggle from first to beginning, if you don't mind, because I found very interesting how you wrote it in a very systematic way. So when you start, for example, that when she started the school, let's maybe for the listener to start, apology if I haven't start from the beginning, because I thought I'm going to jump into the action that maybe the listener like, the real stuff. Uh, but then when the mom, she was really like a juggling between, she wants to stay with her parents, but she also wanted to go to that kind of English middle school. If correct me if I'm wrong, your either was this her mother or her father that says that we are always with you and always will be. It's just the distance in kilometers that will increase, not the distance between our hearts. Unquote. Guys, this is written by Vidushi Garg, who's listening. I was so stunned how you wrote it when you were so young. Maybe you can elaborate about this one. It's so cool. Yeah.
So, like her mother, like was the greatest support during that time. So what she always used to say, Tina, like I will be alone there, no one will be there because she was not friends with anyone there. Like all the girls, if you read the book, was making fun of her because
Yeah.
she was not that friendly. Like so she was facing all these issues. So she used to talk to her mother and she used to say like what problem she is facing. So then her mother used to kind of console her. Like whenever you feel any difficulty, you can remember us in your mind and you will find us with you. So that is why
Wow.
it has been written like
So
we
cool.
might not be there with you physically, but we are always with you, helping you whenever you will need.
You know what? I think maybe everyone who's listening, please don't take her quote away. So, Fidushi, this is your quote, and on behalf of your mother, I love it. I will quote you next time if you don't mind. This is the line that stuck out suddenly when I read it. I think, wow, I think it's very romantic also, but also very heartwarming for those, people who is going away for a long distance, or to study or somewhere else. But also in the book that you wrote about, what I like about is the samosas, because I love samosas. I'm from South America, you know. And when you wrote samosas is on Mondays and different fruits and biscuits on other days.
Yes,
There is something beautiful that I like about this because I forgot. Is it Odia teachers? Her name is Sonam Patnaik. She said you have to start learning the Odia alphabet. Maybe you can help us for those that
okay,
doesn't know. I don't
so
know what Odia
yeah, so
alphabet
there
is.
was a concept of migration in her school, in
Yeah.
Tina's school. So what used to be there, for example, this school where it is based, their regional language was Hindi. So there was a concept of migration that the similar school which is there in Odisha state of India, some students have to kind of migrate and go to Odisha for some period of time. So they were learning Hindi and like the third language concept and migration concept, and we were taught Odisha. Sorry, Udiya, my bad. Like the other students were learning it from previous years, but this girl has directly went into class 9. Other students which were already there in the school were learning from past 3 years already. So it was very difficult for her. Like first of all, she's new and facing all these challenges. On top of that, this regional language she has to learn. So that was the concept.
Oh,
Jokes
thank
apart,
you.
like it is always good to learn other native languages
Absolutely.
also. But she was finding it difficult because of the other things which she already had.
Wow, thanks, Fiduci. Because yeah, I thought it's like a different language or anything, but thanks for clarification on that. I want to move very quickly also because there was a huge thing that happened. I don't know how to start to ask you this question, but I'll try. Um, there was a suicide attempt for this girl. when I read this, I couldn't sleep when I was reading at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think I have to read the whole paragraph now because when I finished the other paragraph and I read this, it was the title says this one. I was like, wait a minute, and now I have to read it. I cannot sleep anymore. So I like the concept how you keep the reader reading the next chapter, which is phenomenal. So, like I said, this is the book written by Vidushi Garg. It's called Beloved Childhood. And one of the chapter, I don't know which chapter it was, it's really about the suicide attempt. And yeah, I would like to ask you a question about that as well. Yeah, take chapter 8 here said it. Yes, there is a point in time of her life that when she was still in the boarding school, that she felt suicidal. And can you please elaborate for maybe the readers later about what led her to that more in detail and how she overcame that?
Yes. So what happened, like post her fracture, she has came back to her home so that she can recover. So now, when everything was fine, like she got completely recovered. So she was getting calls from school to come back because it has been so many months. Even her parents want her to send back because her studies were getting affected. So during that time, she felt like she doesn't want to go. And now, like she was in a kind of situation where she has two options, right? Like either she has to go or and feel those all things which she has suffered, like anything. And the other thing is, which was there in her mind is like, or she can get rid of all these things. So what was the easiest option for her? So she felt that this is easy. Like if she's no more, then she doesn't have to go to all these hardships of the life. But when choosing between her parents and education, and if she goes there, she has to kind of go through all these adversities and hardships. She has to go through so much. So that is why she thought this is the easiest option which she can opt for, and that is why she did that.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing because she was very depressed that day, right? And then it said I read somewhere that and I quote you a little bit about Tina was so depressed that one day she went to her grandmother's room and started searching for something. So I was thinking, wait a minute, I need to ask you, what is that something, you know? And then you're right. You also mentioned that she missed her parents. That was one. That's the only problem. That was something she was searching for. Okay, yeah, because nowadays, as you can see, I have a very few friends of mine whose kids also have this kind of thought, to be honest. So that's why I was thinking about asking you this big question in life about how people can maybe, of course, they have to seek professional help. That's the best if they can afford it. But if people cannot afford it, what do you think if you just out of the book or maybe out of your own experiences or maybe your friends' experiences that you have attend and see that people have this kind of thought, how you think people can take a few steps or how to clarify not to have that thought or basically help them out of this situation? Do you mind sharing your own? It doesn't have your own opinion. I'll call it, guys. It's your open opinion. Disclaimer. Okay, she's not professional psychiatrist or anything. It's just her opinion. Fiduci, if you don't mind. Yeah.
So like I'm a certified yoga teacher also now at this moment.
Wow.
So what I can suggest you all also, like please consult your doctor before like taking this advice very seriously. So what I feel is first you identify what is troubling you. First you identify that, and then think about the two situations. What if what worst can happen to you, right? If you are in that specific situation. So then you see like what are the options which you have to overcome that. And if you still feel that you don't have any option, that you have to be with this, then I would suggest to start including some kind of physical activity in your daily routine. Some kind of workout, jogging, some sport, like some nature walks. All these things will really help you out to see the life from broader perspective. Because what happens is when we get into the problem, we think only about ourselves. We forget like there is a like bigger life that exists outside also. Like if I tell you, I was hearing one of the interviews of a very famous personality. So she has only shared this kind of small snippet which I just told you. Like whenever she gets into the trouble, she comes out of her balcony and she see the life which is happening in other apartments of her opposite building. So this is the life which is happening with her, and there is a bigger life which is happening with so many people simultaneously. So we should try to kind of like separate ourselves from that situation. I know it is very hard if
Yeah.
we go about the practical ways when you are getting these suicidal thoughts. But just give it a try. The moment you give it a try and you are aware, that will help you. You will know where to go. But I will highly recommend to have some sort of workout or any sport included in your daily routine. That will definitely help.
Yes, Vidushi, you're awesome because that when you say about the bigger picture, and that's not only about you, I think it's really is called selfishness that, think about other people, your mom and dad will miss you, or your brother and sister, or your colleagues, maybe. But I like the way you put it. So, guys, don't take my word for it. I think Hiroshi explained it much better than I previously had done in my videos. To be honest, I try to. So, thank you so much, Hiroshi. I didn't know that you are also a teacher, a yoga certified teacher. That's awesome. So meditation, yogas is very good to get out of the thoughts and do something else. Especially just mention go outside, balcony or anything. I love it. Thanks a lot, Vidushi. And I have just a few minutes because I don't want to go too much deep. Otherwise, people will not. I'll get too much valuable things out of the book, guys. But there's still a lot of things in it. So again, whoever comment or like or subscribe to the channel and also send me your details. I will definitely send a copy, a physical copy to you. I'm not joking. You get a physical copy. There's no PDF version because PDF version is all at Vidushi Garg. So if you want PDF, go to her directly. But better buy this book because you never know whose life you're gonna save, especially in the chapter about that suicidal attempt. It's amazing how you help people to explain with examples that I like, and that's why I love this book a lot. I really mean it. So, guys, whoever wants to read it, go ahead. There's a lot of names in it in the book, but I will spare the listener about the names because, um, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to go to the next one very soon. So let's talk to you more about the love part. She fell in
Okay.
love. Tina fell in love,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So if
It
you
was
don't
a
mind
kind of,
to, yeah.
yeah, I should say it was a kind of pressure which she got, I should say. There is a kind of, there used to be a guy which was kind of attracted to her. But Tina's friends used to tease her with his name. So
Hmm.
that is a kind of, it is not a kind of love at first sight or something. It is a kind of, eventually she was listening so much about that person and she was very kind of listening from all over her classes. So that is a kind of, she slowly got attracted to him. So that is a kind of, and eventually you can say it is love.
Yes, I totally agree. It was yeah, indeed not love is outside, but it was amazing how you, guys, really, I mean it. This is amazing chapter. I'm not telling you which chapter it is, otherwise you go to that chapter. Please read the whole book. And if you really want to know which chapter it is, go to Instagram page. She will tell you later how to reach out to you. Just a last few more questions, Vidushi, because I like the flow how we are doing it now. Yeah, there was amazingly the part about happy birthday Pak Pak, happy birthday umbrella, and happy birthday earthquake, those kind of nicknames she got. But eventually she passed through. Maybe you can explain a little bit more
Yes,
how
yes,
she got it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tina's, she eventually kind of got adjusted, right? So, she got many friends. So, she used to kind of shake a lot. So, that is why she got this nickname, Earthquake.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes. So that is why she got all these names based on a few characteristic which she has.
Interesting. Thanks a lot. Because I have so many nicknames already, but this was a very funny umbrella. I was like, okay, this is cool. Okay. Last few questions then. The first one is how can people reach out to you, Vidushi, if you don't mind to tell the listener? Yeah.
So, like, I have this Facebook page and this Insta page, which is already mentioned in the book. So, if you want to kind of stay updated with me and what is happening, so you can always follow it. And this book is available in both physical and kind of soft copy as well. So, Kindle version is also available. And I think in most of the countries it is available. So they have to go to the Amazon site of their specific country. So they
Okay.
will get it.
Cool. I'll leave in the description in my video as well. So if you don't mind, I'll ping you her page, and then you can reach out to her. So thank you so much, Vidushi, for doing this. A final remark from you that you want to just anything you want to share to the listener is now the last few minutes for you. Go ahead.
So like if you haven't read my book, please read it. Like it will definitely help you because it is uh, not only a fiction. What I have tried via fiction, I have tried to put so many concepts in an easier way, which can help you in so many ways, some which we have already discussed here in this podcast.
Wow, that's so strong and simple. Guys, like again, please read this book and thank you guys for joining. Okay, thank you, Vidushi.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Yeah.
TMS. Bye.
Bye.